Imagine this. You're an alien traveler, drifting through the cosmos in a sleek, advanced starship. Your people have long observed humanity from afar, dismissing them as a primitive, war-torn species confined to their blue world. But today, something is different. Your scanners flicker with an ominous warning. An unidentified vessel has locked onto your position. You access the database, expecting to find a minor threat. But what you see chills your blood. The ship belongs to humanity, and it's not just any ship. It's a warship, a colossal behemoth bristling with weapons capable of annihilating planets. Your instincts scream one thing: evacuate immediately. But wait. How did we get here? How did humanity, a species that was still using primitive combustion engines just a century ago, develop warships capable of striking fear into the hearts of interstellar civilizations? Is it just blind aggression, or is there something deeper, something more terrifying, driving them? Today, we're diving into the dark reality of human warfare, their relentless thirst for conquest, and why even the most advanced alien civilizations might think twice before engaging them in battle. Humanity's evolution. From tribal clashes to interstellar arsenal, to understand why a human warship in pursuit is a cause for panic, we need to go back, far back, to where it all began. Humanity's history is written in war. Unlike many civilizations that might have evolved peacefully, humans have been at war with each other for nearly their entire existence. From the earliest tribal conflicts over scarce resources to the world-spanning wars that defined the 20th century, humans have refined warfare to an art form. The staggering part? They learned to weaponize everything, from fire and steel to physics and even space itself. Let's look at a prime example: the Cold War. Despite never escalating into a full-scale conflict, it led to some of the deadliest technological advancements in history. Nuclear weapons, intercontinental ballistic missiles, satellite warfare. Each new invention was designed to guarantee victory, not through battle, but through absolute annihilation. And this philosophy didn't stop on Earth. The moment humans set their sights beyond their atmosphere, war followed. The development of space-based weapons, kinetic bombardment systems, and orbital defense platforms proves that, to humanity, space is not a final frontier. It's the next battlefield. And here's the real kicker. Unlike many alien civilizations, that might rely on diplomacy first. Humanity operates on an entirely different principle: preemptive strike capability. Their wars have taught them one brutal lesson: whoever fires first wins. That's why human warships aren't just armed, they are designed for overwhelming first-strike devastation. The moment they identify a threat, they don't wait. They eliminate it. The warship that's hunting you. Now, let's talk about the warship that has you in its sights. This isn't some exploratory vessel or diplomatic envoy. This is a combat-engineered juggernaut. Human warships aren't built with aesthetics in mind. They are brutal, efficient, and utterly lethal. Every inch of their design is meant for war. Thick hulls reinforced with exotic alloys, advanced deflector systems, and an arsenal of weapons that would make even the most warlike alien races tremble. And then, there's their most terrifying weapon: human strategy. Humanity doesn't just rely on brute force. They are masters of deception, adaptation, and psychological warfare. They have a saying: the greatest victory is the one achieved before a single shot is fired. That means if you're seeing their warship, it's already too late. You're not just facing guns and missiles. You're facing centuries of war-hardened strategy, cunning, and ruthlessness. And here's the chilling reality. If they've locked onto you, they've already decided your fate. The human war doctrine. Why they never hesitate to strike. If you're still hesitating, hoping that the human warship hunting you will offer diplomacy, think again. Human warfare is built on one fundamental principle: survival at any cost. Unlike species that seek balance, trade, or interstellar unity, humanity evolved in a brutal, competitive environment where hesitation meant extinction. Every war they fought, from the ancient battlefield of Thermopylae to the trenches of War I and the orbital conflicts of the 22nd century, reinforced the same message: the weak don't survive. One of the most chilling aspects of humanity's war doctrine is their concept of the preemptive strike. In military strategy, A preemptive strike means launching an attack before the enemy even has a chance to act, an overwhelming first blow that removes any possibility of retaliation. For humans, history has proven this strategy to be devastatingly effective. Take, for example, the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD, during the Cold War. Superpowers like the United States and the Soviet Union stockpiled thousands of nuclear warheads under the belief that whoever fired first would ultimately dictate the terms of existence. It was a terrifying standoff, one that shaped human war philosophy for centuries. Fast forward to humanity's expansion into space, and this doctrine only became more refined. By the time they developed interstellar travel, their military leaders had already written a chilling new strategy. If there's even a 1% chance that an unknown entity could pose a threat, humanity eliminates it first. And that's exactly why you should be afraid. Because to them, you are an unknown entity. They don't know your intentions. They don't care how peaceful your species may be. If they've deemed you a potential threat, even by accident, then their course of action is simple. You won't live long enough to prove them wrong. A warship. Unlike anything the galaxy has seen, now let's break down what makes a human warship so terrifying. Unlike many alien species that rely on energy-based weapons, massive capital ships, or even organic warforms, humans have spent centuries perfecting the balance of brute force weaponry and surgical precision. A typical human warship is built to survive in the most hostile environments, with reinforced armor that can withstand high-velocity impacts, radiation storms, and direct energy blasts. But its real deadliness isn't in defense, it's in its firepower. Human warships are gun, platforms first, ships second. Every angle, every surface is designed to maximize offensive capability. Here's what you can expect if one is hunting you. Railgun batteries. These weapons fire hyper-accelerated metal slugs at relativistic speeds, each impact delivering the force of a small nuclear detonation. They don't just damage enemy ships, they punch holes through them like paper. Kinetic kill missiles, forget explosives. These missiles don't need warheads. They rely on sheer velocity, striking with so much force that even shields designed to absorb energy weapons struggle to stop them. Directed energy weapons. While traditional alien warfleets rely on plasma or beam weaponry, humans have developed adaptive laser arrays that adjust frequencies in real time, bypassing enemy defenses and cutting through armor like a hot knife through flesh. Stealth and electronic warfare. If you think you'll see a human warship coming, you're already dead. Humans have perfected cloaking through low-emission hull coatings and jamming technology that blinds enemy sensors. By the time you detect them, they've already been tracking you for hours, or days. The mind of the human commander. Cold, calculated, unforgiving, even more terrifying than their weapons are the people commanding them. Humans are not mindless war machines. They are predators. They don't just react to threats. They anticipate them, exploiting weaknesses in ways no AI or battle algorithm ever could. Human commanders are trained under unimaginable pressure, with simulations so realistic that many of them develop PTSD before ever seeing real combat. Their training focuses on adaptability, deception, and, above all, ruthlessness. Consider this. During the 21st century Battle of the Abyss Rift, a human fleet faced an overwhelming alien armada 3 times their size. Conventional wisdom would have dictated a retreat, but the human commander executed a strategy so bold, so unthinkable, that it sent shockwaves through the galactic military hierarchy. Instead of retreating, he sacrificed half his fleet as decoys, drawing the enemy into a tight formation, then launched a single, perfectly calculated kinetic bombardment that wiped out the alien flagship and shattered their command structure. What should have been a crushing defeat for humanity turned into a decisive massacre. And that's the key to understanding why you should be afraid. Humanity doesn't fight fair. They don't fight for glory. They don't even fight for conquest. They fight to win, by any means necessary. And if you think you can reason with them, if you think a plea for peace will be met with sympathy, then you don't understand the mind of a species forged in the crucible of war. If you're in their sights, if their warship is bearing down on you, there's only one option left. Run. The final warning. If you can still escape, do it now. Now, The terrifying reality should be sinking in. If a human warship has you in its sights, you are no longer in control of your fate. Your instincts may scream at you to open communications, to send a desperate plea for mercy. But you must understand, mercy is not guaranteed in human warfare. If their sensors have detected an anomaly, if their intelligence has flagged you as a potential threat, then every decision they make from this point on is calculated to eliminate all uncertainty. To them, uncertainty is risk. Risk is unacceptable, and anything unacceptable is erased. The only sliver of hope you have left is time. If you haven't been fired upon yet, it means one of two things. They are still assessing whether you're worth engaging, meaning you have mere moments before they reach a decision. They are already setting up a perfect kill zone, waiting for you to make the slightest move that justifies their attack. And here's where the horror deepens. If humanity does decide to eliminate you, they won't just destroy your ship. They will erase every trace of your existence. The absolute annihilation. Protocol throughout human history, war has always been defined by escalation. When humans first discovered fire, they used it to destroy enemy crops. When they mastered flight, they used it to drop bombs. When they split the atom, they built weapons that could incinerate entire cities. But their most horrifying invention? The doctrine of absolute annihilation. Unlike other galactic civilizations that fight for territory or resources, humans fight to remove threats permanently. This is why human warships don't just destroy enemy vessels. They obliterate infrastructure, dismantle supply lines, and cripple entire civilizations in surgical strikes. Take the siege of Draconis Fev as a chilling example. When a hostile alien empire attempted to challenge human expansion, the response was swift and brutal. Instead of engaging in prolonged warfare, the human fleet simply cut off all supply routes, jammed planetary communications, and launched relentless orbital bombardments until nothing remained. Within weeks, a once thriving empire fell into complete collapse, not because humans invaded, but because they ensured that survival was no longer an option. And that's the fate that awaits you if they deem you a risk. The psychological war. They want you to fear them. But here's the most disturbing part. Humanity doesn't just rely on weapons. They weaponize fear. For centuries, human military strategists have understood that the best way to defeat an enemy is before the battle even begins. Imagine receiving an incoming transmission. No visuals, just a calm, collected human voice stating, "Attention, unidentified vessel. You are within restricted space. Your presence has been noted. You have 30 seconds to comply or face immediate and irreversible termination." No shouting, no threats, just a cold, calculated fact. And that's what makes them truly terrifying. Humans don't need to display aggression to assert dominance. Their reputation alone is enough. Entire alien fleets have retreated at the mere sight of a human warship, knowing that the alternative is a swift and merciless end. But if you're still here, if you're still listening to this warning instead of acting, then you're already too late. Final moments. When the sky goes dark. If a human warship has decided to engage, your fate is already sealed. The first thing you'll notice isn't a weapon's flash. It's silence. Your sensors will fail. Your communications will cut out. Your ship will become blind. And then, the darkness will move. At first, you might think it's a malfunction. Your vision struggling to adjust to the sudden void appearing before you. But no. It's them. Their warship, a predator emerging from the black abyss of space, already within firing range, and before you can even comprehend what's happening. It's over. The final question. Is there any hope? Now, as terrifying as this all sounds, there remains one last question. Is humanity truly unstoppable? Is every encounter doomed to end in destruction? Or is there a way to survive, to prove that you are not an enemy, but an ally? There are whispers, stories buried deep in the archives of fallen empires, of civilizations that have managed to earn humanity's respect instead of their wrath. But how? What secret allowed them to avoid the fate that has claimed so many? Others? If there's a way to survive an encounter with a human warship, It's a mystery that only the bravest, or the most desperate, would dare to uncover. But for you, if you can still escape, run.